Think about the last time you saw a news story about disability. What words did they use? What emotion did they stir? And most importantly, was the reporting ethical?
Matters of ethical reporting when it comes to disability. As a lecturer who teaches disability reporting, what are some of the key principles you emphasize when training future journalists?
Yeah, the first thing is the language we use in disability reporting, because language keeps on changing. So I insist on language because language change, and language can even help you to feel important or not important. Like if I just meet you in the street and I say, hey, kijana, how will you feel?
I feel bad.
But if I say, how are you, young man, or how are you, Edwin, I know your name, how are you today, you'll feel like you are valued, you are respected. Same with people with disabilities. When we talk about language, it is about valuing people, making people feel comfortable, and even giving people opportunities. Because if I see a person with disability as a person first before disability, then even when they come to my office with the CV, I'm going to see their people first before, instead of just seeing disability and giving them some token of money. So for future journalists, we really insist on language and terminology, because language is very important in changing the perspective of people with disabilities, how their stories are being told and the opportunities they get in the world. That is one. Second is about stereotypes. Trying to change the mentality that we've had about disability. Disability being evil, pitying people with disability, disability being heroism. So for the future journalist, I also insist on making them realize the stereotypes that are there. They're called conscious biasness, what we grow up believing. So I really try hard to teach them about that so that they can see, and then in their reporting, they don't do that. Because if we don't change stereotypes, when we produce our stories with the same narratives, we are not going to change the story of people with disability in the society. Remember, media is the mirror of the society. What we see in the media is what we do as a people. And also we believe in media because it sets the agenda. We believe in the media because it educates, informs, and entertains us. So if we can be able to remove the stereotypes in the media, then the society will be enlightened, and the society will also change their perceptions about disability.
And as a producer who was able to produce a show called Able Infantry, I'm sure you're aware of how, let's say, other producers do their shows where they put, you have said you usually put the person before the disability. Mm-hmm. But we also have producers who put the disability before the person so that they can market their program or their news. Mm-hmm. As a producer, what's your view on that?
Mm-hmm. So most of the time when I see a show like that as a producer and a media trainer, I'll try to find out who was the producer behind that or who is the journalist behind that. And then I explain to them the risk or the disadvantages of doing that. Because I also started as a producer who didn't really understand matters of disability. And also I don't blame those producers, because most of the time it's lack of knowledge, lack of awareness, and even lack of interacting with persons with disability. So I reach out so that I can be able to tell them, if you do this, you are not helping people with disability. We are just reinforcing the existing stereotypes. What you are supposed to do, you are supposed to report this way, you are supposed to use this language. So most of the time I reach out because it is a place I used to be before I got enlightened. And not so many people have gotten an opportunity like myself. I went all the way to the US, the University of Massachusetts. I stayed there for a very long time. I interacted with professors who've written much about disability, person with disabilities. I was able to learn that, but how many producers in Kenya or in Africa have gotten that opportunity to learn? So most of the time when I see that, I reach out so that I can be able to help that person understand. And then next time they can be able to do the right thing. Because what I normally say, how we report as producers or media people who have not gone to school and learned about disability reporting, it is our bias. how we grew up knowing disability is bad, people with disability are cursed, people with disability cannot do anything. So we have that bias. Or when maybe they get married or do something, it is heroic, so that is maybe a good story angle. So you need to remove that bias from someone so that they can be able to understand the right way and the right terminologies and the right stories to put out.